Howdy and welcome to InWheelTime, America's award-winning car talk show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, I'm Don Armstrong and King Conrad DeLong. So glad that you could join us today. And this half hour, matter of fact, we're going to talk to a fellow by the name of Larry Baldwin. He is out at Texas Truck Works in Magnolia. Do we have him on the line with us there, Mr. Mars?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. Well, as soon as Conrad can pull him up.
I'm waiting for Mike to get all the little stuff on the side off so we can bring him in. Larry, how you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Wonderful. I love the Earl Campbell behind you.
Well, you got to have him, or if you're older, this guy on the other one.
Bob Lee, here you go.
Well, you're playing both sides of that, the Houston and the Dallas.
Well, no,
fans.
I'm just showing I like the old guys.
Well, that's why you like us.
Yeah, we're all good right there together.
You're right.
So, Larry, I wanted to talk to you today about Texas Truck Works and the things that you guys do up there. I know that you guys have been in business for quite some time. Scott Stevens, the founder, of course, and you work for him. And, Texas Truck Works, to me, being a car guy, is really kind of a unique niche in the fact that it mainly deal with trucks and Jeeps. And, of course, the truck market is hot as it is right now, customizing trucks. And we talked to Scott about this years ago, and I find it fascinating. A lot of people like to customize their cars or trucks or SUVs, whatever it may be. But you guys have really kind of narrowed the focus down, and you've really kind of specialized in putting a package together for people that are really into trucks, whether it be starting off with wheels and suspension or going to off-roading kits, even power adders or engine replacements. I mean, you guys seem to do it all and do it very well.
Well, we just like to talk to the customers and build what they're going to use for their lifestyle, to their taste. And that's whether it's a HEMI engine in a Jeep or just a set of tires and wheels.
Well, let's talk about, just for the heck of it, let's start with tires and wheels because, there's a science to that. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, I like that wheel, and they'll just go out and buy the wheel and stick it on there, and it doesn't fit. It may rub the suspension. It looks odd going down the street. And if you're going to do some custom wheels, don't you really think that it is a good idea to sit down and talk with you guys to have a plan in place going forward? Because you and I both know if you're going to replace just the tires and the wheels, sooner or later, it's probably going to be sooner, that you're going to want to actually maybe do some suspension work. You're going to be able to do some off-roading. There's more to it than just tires and wheels.
Oh, there's a lot more to it because if you don't have the correct backspacing, it ruins everything else you do. You got to have the correct width, height, all that comes together to finish the package.
Well, one of the things that I like about you guys is you sit down and talk to us about the fact that, okay, look, we know that we're going to put tires and wheels on it, but let's work beyond that, and let's not spend more money than we have to. Let's put something that maybe not exactly what you want right now today, but since you're going to spend all this money on lifting the truck and doing suspension work, let's make a little compromise here so we can keep it within your budget.
Right, and that's a big part of it. You want the final picture kind of decided before you take first step, because you don't want to do anything in step A that won't work with what you're going to do in step B or C.
And so when you sit down, you say, as the first thing you say to them, how much money do you want to spend?
That's not the first thing, but it does come pretty quick.
Yeah. So what is the first thing? I walk in there. I've just bought myself a brand new Ram pickup truck, half-ton with a HEMI in it, and it's got the regular standard wheels that it comes with. And I want to start off by doing some wheels and tires on it. Where do we go from there?
The first step is, how do you drive? Do you drive 10 miles a day or do you drive 100 miles a day? Is it all city driving? or are you running up and down the freeway? Do you drive 60 miles an hour? Do you drive 90 miles an hour? And that answers a lot of questions, because you don't want to do, put a 8-inch lift with 40-inch tires if they're planning on running to Dallas and back every day.
Right. And putting 433 gears in running to Dallas doesn't work either.
Correct. And so, but if they're wanting to build a show truck to advertise for their business, that's when you go back, okay, the 8-inch and the 40s and all that, that's what gives you the show truck side of it.
And so, okay, so I decide that I drive 35 miles one way to work, mainly on the freeway. What would you recommend that I kind of stick with, since I'm going to do mostly freeway driving?
I would probably do, you said you had a Ram half-ton?
Correct.
I would do something, leveling kit to 6-inch, depending on your taste, and then 35-inch saw 33s to 35-inch saw tires. Nothing extreme, but definitely looks good. You don't need coilovers. You don't need all the fancy showpieces for that everyday driver.
Now, is that going to be able to allow me to, down the road, be able to buy and afford more of a suspension focus on the truck?
Yes, sir. Like I say, start with leveling kit tires and wheels. Then we'll want that backspace that's going to work with the 6-inch down the road.
Gotcha. And then, okay, now that we've got the look that I'm wanting, how am I going to actually get all this on there and in budget? Because later on down the road, I might want to add me a blower on my Hemi.
Again, we can handle the blower. Again, we're pretty simple. Once you make the decisions what you want, we just get a deposit and get the parts here.
Well,
after the parts are here, it's generally, for the first step, just a one-day install.
Hey, Larry, are you in a position to take us out in the shop and give us a view out there?
Sure.
Well, let's go take a shot of the shop and see what it looks like out there, because I know last time that I was up there, it really is pretty impressive out there. Scott, I know, has spent a lot of money, and not only in the shop, but also in the wrap shop that just is across the parking lot from you.
Yeah. Now, let me see if I can figure out how to turn this phone around so we can see the shop now.
Okay.
Right, because you guys have got some cool toys out there.
Okay, so you can see right now we're pretty heavy on Jeeps. That's the hot item. So you can see some of these Jeeps we got sitting here. I don't know if you can see that one there.
That's the six-wheeler.
That's a what? A six-wheeler?
Six-wheel Jeep.
Well, let's get out there and take
like 4 wheels isn't enough. Right?
Oh my gosh! So, what is the story with that? How are you?
She had 3 children in car seats, so she needed a Jeep that can handle the 3 children.
How big were the kids?
And then if you're going to build a Jeep this size, you need one that's going to run. So you can see there's the Hemi engine inside of it.
So she took and had it made longer to get another seat for the car seats. So now you've got the 6 wheels. Now you got to have more juice under the hood.
Now you got to have more power to turn it.
I love it.
So are all 4 of the rear wheels drive wheels, or are there 2 drive wheels and just 2 tag-alongs?
Now this one is more for the looks and the seating than the performance. It is a drag axle.
A drag axle. Well, it sure does look crazy. I love that red one there as well. Great accessories. It's got
one. This is a man that uses this in parades in a small town down in South Texas. And so he wants to advertise his business. So we did the fenders, we did the steps. I don't know if you can see the steps.
There you go. Oh yeah, those are nice.
We might be old, but not be able to get in them. We're gonna make sure you can get in them.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. Man, that is really cool. So it's got like a drop down, a mechanical drop down on the side step?
Mechanical drop down, but it is still a working rock slider for the people that are going to use their Jeeps.
And then you said he wants to display his business. So when you're finished with the mechanical work over there, is it going to go over into the wrap shop to get his business? But
again, when you're in a parade, you definitely want them to hear you besides just see you. So there's the Hemi again.
Well, the HEMI seems to be a popular transplant for the 6-cylinder that would normally be in that Jeep.
Correct. It's a very popular. It makes a great everyday driver. It actually runs better, drives better, and gets better mileage than the 6 because it doesn't have to work very hard to move these Jeeps.
Are you putting what transmission do you put behind them?
It's the NAG transmission.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have to?
This is an LS Jeep we're looking at here.
An LS Jeep.
So
do they make actual kits to put these different engines in them?
Well, we put them in. These are all these power adders we do here, and we have to do it so that this stays legal. It still has to pass inspection. You have to be able to plug in the OBD part, so it's not just dropping an engine in like we did as kids.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
You got to change the whole shebang. Now, do you have to?
You have to have the computers talking to each other, which that's why HEMI is popular because Chrysler, they speak the same language.
Oh, yeah.
So why? I don't know why you would put an LS in because I'm all about that HEMI engine. Yes. But let me ask you this, Larry. Do you have to do any cutting on the chassis or anything on these Jeeps to wedge that big HEMI in there?
We have to do nothing on the body. Yes, you have to change your motor mounts and several things down on the frame.
Right.
But you're not taking anything away. We're just adding.
Interesting.
How cool is that?
So it's a whole lot easier to put a HEMI in it than it is an LS engine.
Right, but the LS has so many more power options is why it is also popular. And so it's just a little bit more computer work to make the LS work just as good.
And they still have the transfer case, 4-wheel drive capabilities. All you're basically doing.
Transfer case, 4-wheel drive, everything still works. If you've seen several of these Jeeps, none we've looked at yet, but we'll get to one. They've been to Moab 4 or 5 times.
Well, let's look at one.
They've been played with, tested hard.
Go show us one. You got one there?
Let's see.
I love that 6-wheel.
The 6-wheel is just so weird looking to me. Yeah, it truly is.
You can see here's an older TJ. We've got a LS going in it.
Wow.
Here is an old rock crawler that's been through the hills, up and over them, down them, sometimes upside down, and it's getting a new coilover suspension, getting away from the old leaf spring.
So that's truly an off-roader. That's not going to be a street legal one.
That's right. That is not an everyday driver.
And going to the coilover gives you the axle articulation you're looking for when you're rock climbing, correct?
Correct. It should help it keep it on the tires down the way you want it a whole lot better than the leaf springs did.
Wow, man. I want to come up hey, why don't you hire us? You have classes for us, and we can go up there and see how you do all this stuff.
Well, you're welcome. Come up anytime. We'll show you anything. We'll show you everything we know how to do. Now, speaking of one that's been to Moab, this has been to Moab the last 3 years. He's changing his suspension to a coilover suspension also. So what is here right now. But we put this LS engine in 3 years ago.
So Larry, is that kind of how things happen? Somebody gets one, they get interested, they go out to someplace like Moab, they come back. You said he's been 3 times, so he needs a new engine because he needs more power. Then he figures out as he gets a better driver, he needs better suspension. Is that kind of how this plays?
Bigger tires.
Yeah.
Yes, bigger tires, better suspension, and you just keep adding.
As you
it's
get
like your race car, you start at 300 horsepower, but you never end up there.
It's kind of like heroin on wheels.
Well, I wasn't quite going there, but okay.
Well, I mean, once you get started, you can't stop.
But, Larry, what you're talking about is each time they go, they learn the shortcomings of their vehicle, bring it back, and get that addition added to their vehicle, and then go back and learn a new shortcoming of the vehicle.
Right, and then they see the new developments. Things, the JK started in 07, but there are still parts coming out for it new that work better still.
Okay.
Truly amazing. And I guess that you could go over that with your actual client that walks into the showroom and says, I want to do something, but I don't know what it is. What do you think I should do?
Well, anytime I'm talking to a Jeep customer, one, who's going to be driving it? Because a lot of these are for new teenage drivers.
Ooh.
A lot of them is for the dad's everyday driver, the mom's birth getter. But other times it's, no, this is my toy.
Yeah.
So that's back to how do we start the conversation? How do we do everything?
Wow.
So you kind of begin, the ultimate phrase is you begin with the end in mind. Where do they want to finish with the vehicle? And you'll progressively take them through those steps to get them there.
One of my favorite Jeeps that I've done is an 09 two-door. And this gentleman, in 09, we did lift tires, wheels. And every year since then, we've done one job. So now he is up to the coilovers. He is up to the HEMI engine. New cages.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
It's just for him, instead of buying a new Jeep,
He just
he
updates
buys-
that one.
does something to that one.
Oh, that's a
You
nice.
see, this one I'm showing now is a brand new JL. We're just finishing.
Wow.
That's
Well,
fascinating. We could spend all day out there. You know, you're right. We need to go out there and spend a little more time out there. But we really appreciate, Larry, you taking the time to show us around here. This is fascinating.
It truly is. And let's not forget the wrap shop, and we're going to talk about that later. Larry, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for the tour of Texas Truck Works up there in Magnolia. We really appreciate it. We're going to have another tour next time. Well, in the next, let's plan on it in about another 2 months when you get a different set of vehicles in there, shall we?
Anytime, you're always welcome. Come on out. We can talk. We can talk Jeep for all day long.
I believe it.
No doubt about it. All right. Larry Baldwin with Texas Truck Works on the line there with us. We really appreciate it. Matter of fact, while we're talking about Jeeps, Mr. Mars, why don't we do the Jeep Trails feature that we always have every week?